Hello, welcome back to another video. Today we got devs stand up to Asmongold. It backfires instantly. So it looks like it might be a little update to that game, Take Us North. So yeah, God, dude, I still can't believe they're actually still trying to push this game. It's insane to me, man. It's genuinely insane. Like, bro, literally a game glorifying committing a crime is wild, you know? Like, yeah, games like GTA exist and shit, but like at the end of the day, GTA is set in a fake world that is modeled after a small portion of whatever city it is that they're modeling it after. Take Us North is literally just glorifying crossing the border, literally crossing the border into America. Like, bro, it's genuinely just insane.
Hey, what's up, guys? Riff here. So today we're going to be once again talking about Take Us North, which is essentially a piece of propaganda masquerading as a video game. We talked about it a month or two ago, so why are we returning to it today? Well, yesterday the developer, Anima Interactive, released a lengthy statement
Oh
about
god.
the attacks they have been receiving over the past couple of months, including a direct mention of Asmongold, among other.
Just remember, people, just remember, to them, anything that constitutes as criticism, they deem an attack. So be ready for these quote unquote attacks to quite literally be a load of literally nothing burgers. Why? Just because they quite literally can't handle the fact that people are telling them that, this is a terrible game that they're making. No one asked for it. And the people who quote unquote did ask for it, the quote unquote modern audience that would cheer for this game won't even support it at the end of the day. I mean, just look at every other game that has been made for the supposed modern audience, instantly just backfire and do poorly. Like Dragon Age Veilguard did poorly, Concord did poorly, a whole bunch of other games made by SBI did poorly. It's like, bro, they have a few successes, and those successes aren't even attributed to anything that they did. The only reason that their successful games are successful is because they need to jump on the backs of a major IP like God of War. It's like you need to literally do something in an IP that's already popular that people know by default they're gonna get, sales and whatnot, like Miles Morales and Spider-Man 2. And it's like, they somehow think this is like a win for them. Like, bro, it's like, no, they'll be like, oh, look, God of War Ragnarok and Spider-Man 2 did good, even though people only bought it because it's Spider-Man and God of War Rag and God of War, those IPs that are well known and already have, well established fan bases. They'll point to that and be like, see, that was successful. But then you look at any of their other games that they've made and they're all garbage. No one wants them and no one cares for them.
As they consider right-wing extremist YouTubers who talked about their projects. Yeah, I guess I would know a thing or two
about. But of course, there it is, the right-wing extremism. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. You don't agree with our product and you don't like it. Oh, look, we even talked about this. You don't agree with our product. You don't like our product. You're a Nazi. You're a misogynist. You're a transphobe. You're a woman hater. You're a fascist. At this point, I'm about to just be like fucking goddamn hate monger. And every time I get called with these things, I'm just gonna be like, yes. Hate monger, you're just a bully. Yes. Like, bro, that's literally about to be my response to a lot of this shit. Just yes.
About that, I just wanted to point out this funny post from Hero Hey. So apparently on Blue Sky, which is not a surprising place for this, myself, Kirsha, Leaflet, Hero Hey, and Pippa have all been identified as literal Nazis. But even more curious is that there's also profiteers and those promoting it, including the Mythic team,
Oh
Henya
my
the
god.
Genius, Doki Bird, and even Iron Mouse. Yep, according to Blue Sky, Iron Mouse is a Nazi supporter. Can you believe that? Well,
Oh my god, it's the dumbest thing. It's like, oh, you'll ask them, why is she a Nazi supporter? It's like, oh, because she has a partnership with Starforge PC. And you're like, okay, but are they actively like supporting and spreading Nazi rhetoric? Are they like donning swastikas? Are they saying a whole bunch of stuff that Nazis would actually say? No, they're just associated with Starforge PCs, and I don't like Starforge PCs, so therefore they're a Nazi. It's like, bro, what? What?
an insane asylum over at Blue
Again, liberals and logic, non-existent.
Sky, so I'm not too surprised. But as always, this is basically just a big follow list. And why don't you, while you're at it, go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe on this video to help boost it in the algorithm. So let's just give a quick rundown of what we talked about last time with Take Us North. So this was a project on Kickstarter that raised $61,000, went past its goal, and there's a lot of great rewards they offered, including a $5,000 reward where you could literally go visit illegal immigrants. And then they have their entire story.
Bro, who the fuck pays for that shit? Genuinely. Genuinely. Bro, they're treating illegal immigrants like they're fucking exhibits at a zoo. Like, give us $5,000 and you'll be able to go see the illegals. Like, what? Bro, that's wild. That's fucking funny, honestly.
Laid out here, where essentially you are a part of illegal immigrants trying to enter the United States, and they're trying to humanize the migrant and refugee experience. And now, based on what we're going to read in just a second.
Well, the issue is there's a massive fucking difference between a refugee from an actual war-torn country that's in the middle of a war and an illegal immigrant that's trying to just cross the border to inevitably not even contribute to the financial system that exists in America, but to send all the money they make over back to their country. It's like, what? Like, cool, you come here, you say you want a better life, but at the end of the day, you're sending your money to another country. It's like, okay, well, I mean, can't you, like, bro, go back to your own country and make money over there then.
And this experience includes coyotes, the smugglers. They're going to try to humanize them as well. They actually confirmed that's what's going to be happening in this game. But of course, there was also connections to Wings and...
Ah, yes, the coyotes. The coyotes that'll literally steal that'll literally charge them hundreds of thousands of dollars to sneak them in. And when they can't play, they can't pay. They have to sell their bodies, sell their kids, and essentially end their sex work for the rest of their lives to pay off this debt. Uh-huh. Sure. But they're the good guys. What a joke. Talk about, like, bro, that's how you can tell the people making this game are literally the most privileged people on the planet.
Interactive, Sweet Baby Inc., Clever Endeavor Games, Microsoft, and even the United Nations, the usual suspects, had a hand to play in this game's development.
Bro, what a joke.
A lot of people were focusing on Carla Reyes, which is one of the creators of this game, and not that long ago, she spoke at Gamescom trying to promote this game, and Asmongold shortly after would react to that video, and that's where a lot of the attention towards what has been dubbed the illegal migrant simulator began.
Let's get it.
My pronouns are she, her, and
shit!
Great.
Already starting off strong.
Thank you. My name's Carla Reyes. My pronouns are she, her, and yeah, I run a little indie studio called Anima Interactive. We're developing Take Us North, which is about migration across the U.S.-Mexico border, which is obviously a very relevant and heavy-hitting topic.
Yeah.
But that's why we found it important to talk about now, and I'll share a little bit about our behind-the-scenes in the development of this project because it's very deeply rooted in research. Given how sensitive and complex and nuanced the subject matter is, we want to make sure that we are telling these stories.
Are they going to research the way that illegal migrants steal the identities of American citizens and then claim their benefits illegally? I wonder if they're going to talk about that.
So to conclude this introduction to this game, right after that reaction from Asmongold, other YouTubers, including myself, would also react. But
yeah, dude, after that, they went full on scorched earth and started deleting everything. It was hilarious. It's like, oh, Asmik covered our game that's clearly propaganda. We got to delete the website. We got to delete Twitter accounts. We got to delete LinkedIn profiles. It's like, what exactly are you trying to hide here? Let's not get into the fact that that fucking person, Carla Reyes, worked for Visa for like 4.5 years, give or take a few months, you know. But let's not get into the fact that they worked with the people that were backing them. Let's not get into let's not get into the fact that, you know, she quite literally worked in the most liberal cities imaginable, London and LA and every other liberal city you could think of. Let's not get into the fact that, you know, the people like Visa who were backing them, who were backing this game, she worked with personally. No. Let's not connect all these dots. Instead, we're going to go full on scorched earth, delete everything so that way no one can connect these dots that, you know, this is clearly a game being pushed for very specific reasons.
Mainly because of Asmongold's reaction, the entire project just blew up, right? Carla Reyes, she deactivated on everything, pretty much wiped her digital footprint, and then Anima Interactive deleted their Twitter account and even privated their own website. That's how scared they were of the attention, as pointed out by Smash JT here. Ask yourself...
Which is kind of odd, because if you're making a video game, wouldn't you want all the attention it can get? Why would you want to all of a sudden hide your video game that you quite literally promoted at Gamescom, while also not even showing a trailer of the gameplay?
This. If they're so proud of what they're creating, why did they run and hide the second people discovered it? Very interesting. So, this leaves us with today. What are we talking about today? Well, as I stated, there has been a statement made by Anima Interactive. So, we begin with this email that was sent to their Kickstarter backers. Let's just read this part quickly, then we'll get to the full document. They say, "Dear friends and supporters," and skipping ahead, they say, "Unfortunately, as some of you may know, after our creative director, Carla, gave a presentation about Take Us North at Gamescom in late August, Anima Interactive and Take Us North became targets of an online harassment campaign by right-wing extremists."
I love how they always go to a harassment campaign online by right-wing extremists. I love how that's always what they do, yet they will never talk about the actual online harassment campaigns that they themselves launch against people who expose their bullshit. Like, who remembers when that one guy on Steam, I forgot who his name is, he literally made like an entire thread of every game that contained even the smallest fraction of Sweet Baby Inc. in it. And what did Sweet Baby Inc. do? Immediately try to get them banned. And told everyone in their, you know, who would listen to them to go mass report that individual's account so that way it would get banned on Steam. You want to talk about a real online harassment campaign? That's a real online harassment campaign. People are just judging you for making a stupid game that is genuinely just propaganda.
Extremists. For the safety of for our safety and the security of our team members and families, we had to make the difficult decision to step back from the public communication and minimize our online presence. So yeah, they're blaming the right-wing extremists, referring to people like YouTubers and just social media users generally, who had something to say about this very clear piece of propaganda that is being masqueraded as a video game. Now, this is where it gets interesting. There was an article written about this. It is now gone. They deleted it. The whole purpose was to say we're not being silenced, and well, they silenced themselves. Because once again, the second they got discovered, They nuked everything. But of course, the internet is forever, and there is an archived version of this post, which we're going to look at today. It is titled, Replacing Fear with Empathy. We are currently in the midst of Hispanic Heritage Month, a time typically marked by vibrant festivals and...
Where's Caucasian Heritage Month is my question. Is that even a thing? I'm curious now to hear. Caucasian Heritage Month. Let's see, is that a thing? Does such a thing as Caucasian Heritage Month exist? Let's see here. Nope. No, literally the first things that pop up on Binge of all things when you look this up is, why is there no White History Month? Why is there no White History Month on Reddit? Why is there no such thing as White History Month? Literally, that's like the top 3 links. It's insane to me. And I agree. Why is there no such thing as White Heritage Month, in my opinion? How come we have all these other fucking heritages being celebrated here in America specifically, but there isn't like a White Heritage Month? Why is there no Caucasian Heritage Month? You know? It feels kind of racist to have all these months for Blacks, Hispanics, Asians, you know, a fucking Pride Month, all these other fucking months dedicated to all these other people, but yeah, you'll exclude Caucasians. Why is that? Why is that? Because in my opinion, that's racist as shit. You know? In my opinion, all these heritage months shouldn't even be a fucking thing. It's so stupid, genuinely. Like, who gives a crap, man?
Cultural celebrations, but this year some of that joy is muted. Following a recent Supreme Court ruling, many Hispanic heritage gatherings across the U.S. have been canceled as fear over immigration enforcement and safety concerns arise. These cancellations...
Why would you be afraid? If you have Hispanic heritage, but you're an American, why would you be afraid whatsoever? Huh? The only people who have to be afraid are the people who are here illegally. And if you're trying to pretend that Hispanic Heritage Month is, you know, supposedly for the Americans who have Hispanic heritage, then why would the Americans of Hispanic heritage need to be fearful about immigration enforcement? Unless this is actually not Hispanic Heritage Month, and it's actually just illegal immigration month. You know, you're here to celebrate the illegals and make them feel welcome and whatnot, when in reality, they're not fucking welcome. They broke into our country. Their first act to coming to our country was disrespecting its laws. They're not welcome here. You know, criminals will be criminals, especially in these liberal cities where criminals know they can get away with any crime they can.
Contribute to a pattern of cultural erasure that is pushing historically marginalized communities into the shadows. Now you have to ask yourself, why would people attending these sorts of gatherings be afraid of these immigration enforcement issues?
Unless they're here illegally.
Well, probably because they're here illegally, which kind of goes hand in hand with this entire project. But this is the probably the most important part, saying, I've come to know these shadows as well. In late August, Anima Interactive and I became targets of a viral online harassment campaign after giving a presentation at Gamescom, the largest video game convention in the world. A prominent streamer with a large right-wing following broadcast my talk to his audience, reaching millions of views. This escalated in direct personal attacks and doxing attempts, forcing us to minimize our...
How did it fucking escalate to that when the moment he made that video, y'all went full on scorched earth and just deleted everything? Where was the time for any of these supposed attacks when the moment he reacted to it, Asmund, you immediately deleted everything. You literally left zero traces of your online digital footprint anywhere. You tried your best to scrub your face off the internet. It didn't work because people had screenshots of, you know, the people you're tied to, who you're connected with. But at the end of the day, it's like, you're the ones who ran with your tails between your legs to hide, bury your heads in the sand, when literally all he did was say, look at this game that's just blatant propaganda to his audience. Like, what a joke.
Online presence to protect our safety and security. Yeah, they are playing the victim on this one again. It's like the second a light was shined on them, they immediately ran away and blamed right-wingers, and in this case, they are very clearly directly calling out Asmongold. I'll ask you this, if you're not even right-wing and you had a problem with what they're doing, or you have some criticisms of Take Us North, please let it be known in the comments, because it's very welcomed. Okay, I'm sure a lot of people see through the propaganda that this sort of quote-unquote video game is actually about. But yeah, they are directly blaming Asmongold and right-wingers, because that's the only people, I guess, who have an issue with a illegal immigrant simulator. But we continue on. At the nexus of the harassment campaign is our project Take Us North, and blah, 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 blah. It portrays dangerous migrant groups in the world, including the Sonoran Desert, La Bestia, and the Darien Gap. And they also mention here, the experience invites you to walk in the shoes of border crossers, as well as a migrant guide, or Gaia, more widely known as a coyote. Another
I can pronounce, sorry. The way Rev just pronounces all this shit is so funny to me. Yeah, it's just wild. It's like, yeah, I bet you they won't, you know, talk about the fact that they extort these people for massive amounts of money. I bet you they'll paint the coyote as like this massive fucking savior to these people. Like, he's doing his civil duty by helping you cross over illegally into America. It's like, no, he's getting paid to do a job, and a lot of money for it. And a lot of the times, those who can't pay, guess what happens to that? They get left there in the desert where they die, or they get turned over to immigration themselves. So that way, and then they dip like a fucking fart in the wind. They just dip. And it's like, bro, why are you glorifying criminals? Genuinely.
conspiracy theory proven true. They were trying to act like this wasn't going to happen, that you weren't going to actually try to play a smuggler, because that's what a coyote is. They smuggle people illegally into places like the United States. At minimum, they do it for a fee. They violate our borders and put people in the country illegally for a fee. At worst, they engage in human trafficking. So we're going to play that role in this game, or whoever plays this game, all 15 of them, will play this role. And as they describe earlier in this video that we saw on their Kickstarter, they're trying to humanize these groups. So they're going to try to humanize smugglers. They admit it right here. Crazy. But then they try to shield that narrative by saying, as a first-generation immigrant from Guatemala, migration is not an abstract...
God, dude. You know what's wild? Why don't these people go and... It's funny, because then, like, America's called fascist for securing its border, yet no one bats an eye when Mexico secures its border from Central Americans. It's like, talk about a double standard here, genuinely. Why is it okay for Mexico to secure their border, but if America secures their border, America's authoritarian and fascist? By that logic, so is Mexico and the Mexican people. And if you're going to call America authoritarian and fascist because they want to secure their border, then like I said, so is Mexico, and so are the Mexican people. And then what I say to that as well is, Why do you want, if you already don't like the fascists and authoritarians in America, why would you want to bring more of them in from Mexico? Given that by your own logic, Mexicans are authoritarians and fascists, and you don't want more of those people, right? Right? So why do you want Mexicans to come into our country illegally? They're authoritarians and fascists because they're securing their own southern border. You don't want more fascists in America, do you? Like, bro, if you like genuinely, if you use their own logic against them, their brains immediately get fried.
Political issue for me, which is very interesting because I found out that Guatemala, their Congress, about a decade ago, passed an anti-coyote law, particularly targeting illicit trafficking and smuggling of people by these individuals. So I don't think Guatemala is really down with the coyotes. It sounds like they have an issue with them as well, to the point where their Congress is passing laws targeting them. But we continue on. My commitment to this project is rooted in deep human-centered research. I've extensively interviewed migrants and asylum seekers, walked along their trails, and learned from ethnographers and anthropologists who've dedicated their lives to studying migration. So they admit and confirm, like we already kind of saw in the Kickstarter project, that they are in fact interviewing illegal immigrants, which by itself is not something that is wrong. You can interview someone like that, but this is where it starts to get wishy-washy. Like, are they actually helping them with the process of doing what they're doing, perpetuating a crime, being here illegally?
Oh,
that's where things get wishy-washy, and you could actually get in trouble. But you are allowed to interview them. But that is something that was pointed out when people began talking about Take Us North about a month or two ago. But they continue on saying our goal is not to be definitive, but to be dedicated. We're engaging in a documentary-style work by contributing human testimonies to a conversation that desperately needs more of them. Take Us North is designed to bring these personal stories into focus, inviting our audience.
You know, it's funny. There's already a movie dedicated to that. There's already an entire movie dedicated to illegal immigrations and illegals coming into America. It's funny that they want to pretend like this is some new fucking thing that they're doing when there's already been movies made, and those movies, guess what? They're not popular for a reason. Because no one likes them, because no one gives a shit.
To move beyond the world of divisive rhetoric and into the visceral moment to moments of the human journeys. That sounds really impressive. I'm sure Sweet Baby Inc. would be really impressed by this word salad. It's really great, guys. Keep it up. So scrolling ahead a little bit, we got some questions that they're answering directly. Why is Take Us North a video game? So they say the word game may seem inappropriate for a project centered around migration, but games have evolved far beyond traditional stereotypes and can serve as strong drivers of community and connection. It's broken the traditional stereotypes of what a video game is? What did you mean by that? Interesting. Video games don't just tell stories. They ask you to hold their weight. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking every time I'm playing Dragon Age the Veilguard, games like that, or, Dustborn, or any of those. Like, I think about...
Yeah. It's like, bro, like, those games that just drastically fucking failed. So, yeah, so, like, 2009, their movie came out about the track that they're talking about, The Beast, called Sin Nombre. And it follows, I believe it's a fucking a Honduran teen right here on Google. A Honduran teen. That's who it follows. A Honduran teen who quite literally takes the beast to try to come to America to escape life from a gang, one of the gangs down in Honduras. There's another one that I also remember being shown in school. Literally weird that we're being shown these films in school and shit. A little odd. But there was another one called A Better Life. That one came out in 2011. And that one follows an illegal dad who is already here with his son. His son is here illegally. He had his son here. And the dad he's here illegally and he tries to make an honest living, but he trusts the wrong individual. And when he goes to Home Depot to pick up one of the fucking guys, he trusts the wrong person. And that person, who's also here illegally, steals his car and sells it for money. So him and his son try to find his car and whatnot. And when they do, they get the car, they steal it back. And what happens is they get pulled over by a police officer. And the police officer asks him for, license and registration, all that jazz. And since the dad is here illegally, he doesn't have a license whatsoever. No license, no registration, none of that. So what happens is, all right, they turn him over to ICE. They send him to a facility. The son then has to go live with his aunt, who was also here illegally, but she married some wealthy guy. So she was able to, she started the process to get papers. No, I forget how she becomes a citizen. I forget if like the dad helps her become a citizen by like giving her all the money that he could from all the jobs that he worked, or if she like marries someone with money, and then with the money that she marries into, she becomes a citizen and she uses that to get papers and all that. I forget how it goes. It's been a hot minute. But, so the son ends up going to live with his aunt, who is the dad's sister. The dad gets deported, but before that, the lawyer explains to him, he's like, you're going to be deported. You're going to be on a list for like 3 to 5 years. And if you come back, instead of being deported, you'll face, you'll face federal prison time because you've already been warned this would be your second offense, and then you'd go to prison for it. And by the end of the movie, you see the kid is like happy. He's playing soccer and shit, and he's living with his aunt and whatnot. And before it cuts the credits, you see that the dad yet again crosses the border illegally and comes back illegally with the help of a smuggler. And it's like, you already have movies like that are being shown to kids in school. Why do you all of a sudden need a video game?
The stories they're telling and the weight we have to hold. I believe they're one of the greatest vehicles for empathy. Did iDubbbz co-write this? Amazing. One of Take Us North's fundamental design principles is to avoid abstracting the player from the emotional impact of migration. This requires a profound commitment to sensitivity. Yeah, well, you guys got sensitivity consultants helping you on this project, so I'm sure they're in good hands, like I just said. Ensuring we can convey some difficult truths without being gratuitous. The primary goal of Take Us North isn't for a player to win or lose, but to engage in an experience grounded in reality and confront choices, stakes, and...
Really? If you're not meant to win or lose, then what's the end game and what's the end game objective? Isn't the objective of the game to cross over to America illegally? And if you get caught by ICE or border security or whatever you want to call them, you lose and you have to start over, then wouldn't that be the win-lose scenarios? You win by evading ICE, you lose if you get caught by ICE. I don't know, just seems a little odd to me, to say that there is no winning or losing when quite literally you probably lose the game if you get caught by ICE, and you win by making it all the way to America illegally.
Sacrifices, what about the law, that reflect those of migrants and asylum seekers. We're carefully weaving real-world stories into the tapestry of the project, stories that encompass not just trauma, but a broad range of human emotion, moments of love, laughter, hope, live, laugh, love, and connection that persist even in the most challenging circumstances. We aim to honor the individuals behind the stories with integrity and dignity.
I fucking don't.
Video games? This doesn't sound like a video game at all. You know what? They're right. They're kind of breaking the mold of what a video game is by selling you basically political propaganda. Very interesting, But to answer the next question, does Take Us North condone or...
Yes, yes, it does actually, because you're playing as a smuggler. So yeah, it does. I find it funny how they're like, absolutely not. First, it's important to distinguish between trafficking and smuggling. They're the same fucking thing.
Glorify human trafficking? Absolutely not. Firstly, it's important to distinguish between trafficking and smuggling. Human trafficking involves force, fraud, or coercion for exploitation, a heinous crime that are developed.
Yeah, that's exactly what's happening. They're extorted heinously for monetary gain. And if they can't pay that, then they're exploited via their bodies. Forcefully. Like, what are we talking about?
Team and the project denounce. Human smuggling, on the other hand, is the facilitation of passage for a fee, a consensual transaction. Wow, that's just great. Yeah, I'm glad the cartels out there can collect a fee to help violate our borders. So I'm glad we have the separation here. But I'm going to skip ahead because then they say, why step in the shoes of a coyote or gaia? Not all Gaias are directly involved with the cartels. Through research, we've discovered that many migrant guides are simply people who...
Source? What's your source? Why don't you source some articles here? What's this research you're saying?
Who, out of desperation or to make a living in a hostile economy, become facilitators. Again,
Press it out.
At the very minimum, they're helping people enter a country illegally for a fee. At the maximum, they're also engaging in human trafficking. So there's sort of dichotomy here where they're trying to split up trafficking and smuggling. It doesn't really matter because coyotes do both.
Yep.
Like, they're trying to humanize this practice, which is very, very weird. Okay? I don't really know who came up with this idea, but it's not working in the year 2025. People are looking at this and asking questions, and I think that is fair. But then down here, they are asked the question, is Take Us North propaganda? Propaganda takes an easy path to a conclusion and makes sweeping statements on morality. In contrast, Take Us North...
Just like the game. Just like the game. You're literally taking sweeping statements on morality. You're quite literally ignoring the morality of the fact that, you know, these quote-unquote smugglers, as you want to distinguish them, are literally just human traffickers. And you're not even questioning the morality of whether these people should be, you know, benefiting monetarily by smuggling people illegally into a country.
Embraces complexity rather than reducing it. The project explores moral ambiguity and provokes difficult questions rather than providing simple answers. This is storytelling as inquiry and not indoctrination. That's what people selling you propaganda typically tell you. They're the only ones who have to tell you it's not propaganda. If they're telling you it's not propaganda, it's propaganda. But I'm going to conclude here. I think we get the point, right? But this last paragraph, they begin by saying, the wave of harassment against us has been met by a powerful and humbling counter-current of solidarity led by artists, developers, and advocates across the globe. What about gamers?
Bruh.
What about gamers? Who's the target audience? Is it to impress artists, developers, and advocates? Or to do what the mission's supposed to be and change the hearts and minds of gamers, the average person? Interesting. The intensity of this reaction proves we've struck something vital and reinforces why we do this work. For the people whose stories we're sharing, resilience.
We've struck something vital. You mean a literal topic that's in discussion right now? Here's my question. When Obama was keeping children in cages, how come you guys didn't bat an eye over that? How come you guys didn't call Obama a fucking, you know, a dictator when he quite literally has the highest deportation numbers out of all the presidents? Like, dude, Trump comes nowhere near the amount of deportations Obama had during his presidency. And let's not forget the fact that Obama ran on deportations as well, just like Trump did. Yet Obama is praised as like one of the greatest fucking presidents to have ever lived. Why? Because he's black? Really? That's it? So what, he was just a DEI president at the end of the day then? Like, what are we talking about here, man? Genuinely. Genuinely. It's like, oh, right now that Trump's doing it, bad, bad, bad. Oh, but when you bring up the fact that Obama did it, I don't know what you're talking about. Obama was a great president. Obama wouldn't do this to us. He literally did. He has the highest deportation numbers out of all the goddamn presidents. Like, shit, it's insane.
Is a through line. We will honor their journeys by continuing our own with Take Us North. And we will not be silenced.
Well, clearly you were, and by yourselves. You clearly silenced yourselves, because the moment this game reached, you know, everyone, you guys went full scorched earth, and you guys tried to delete your digital footprint by any means necessary. Even you even went to go as to delete your LinkedIn's. Like, that is just so wild, man. And then you deleted this article as well. This exact article, you removed it. It's like, what? No one's trying to see you. You're literally, the only people silencing you are yourselves, and you're pretending like others are silencing you. Like, it's so dumb. Do you genuinely believe that the average individual that isn't, you know, with their head stuck up their own ass isn't gonna, like, see all this stuff and be able to, you know, connect the dots or some shit? Like, genuinely.
Okay, they were silenced. They self-silenced. They took down this article just one day after it was posted. The irony is palpable, ladies and gentlemen. The people screeching.
You can't even say that someone else forced the article to be deleted, because it literally says right here behind me, the author deleted this Medium story. They themselves are deleting their own stuff.
So much support, and that we won't be silenced, or silenced really quickly the second anyone who is critical of them pays attention for 1 second. And that's what happened once again. And that is the update on Take Us North. Where this journey goes next, we'll have to wait and see. But for now, that's going to do it for this video. As always, feel free to share your thoughts about today's topics in the comment section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.
God damn, dude. So cringe. Genuinely. So sad, so pathetic. Oh yeah, it's like, how are you going to complain? How are you even going to say that people are, you know, silencing you when it's you yourselves who are deleting your own articles? It's just so sad, genuinely, to see that they're trying to push this narrative that doesn't exist, that's just made up in their own heads. You know, it's so wild. All people did was call it out for what it is, propaganda, and they lost their minds. They acted like someone ran over their dog, tossed the corpse on shit, and then tossed the shit-laced corpse onto their faces, and then forced them to eat it. Like, that's how these people act. It's just wild. But yeah, if you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe, and all that YouTube jazz, and I'll catch y'all in the next one later.